Today, I'm diving into the world of true horror movies that actually happened, and I'm challenging myself to watch them all in one sitting without getting freaked out. There's something about horror movies that's just so captivating, but have you ever stopped to think about what makes them so unsettling? For me, it's the fact that some of the most terrifying stories are rooted in reality. The thin line between fiction and reality is what makes these movies truly disturbing. You see, when we watch a horror movie that's based on a true story, our minds instantly try to separate what's real from what's not. But the thing is, our brains aren't wired to distinguish between reality and fiction when it comes to fear. So when we're scared, our minds are racing, trying to process what's happening, and that's exactly what makes these movies so psychologically impactful. The fact that these events actually took place or were inspired by real people and experiences makes them all the more chilling. It's like our minds are constantly thinking, this could have happened to me, this could have happened to my friends, this could have happened to anyone, and that's what makes these movies so terrifying. Moreover, when we're watching a horror movie based on a true story, we're not just scared of the supernatural or the monsters, we're scared of the humans, the people who committed these atrocities, the people who allowed these events to happen. It's like we're staring into the face of humanity's darkest side, and that's what makes these movies so psychologically disturbing. Let's take a look at some notable horror films that were inspired by true events. For instance, The Exorcist is widely considered one of the scariest movies of all time, and it's based on a true story about a young boy named Roland Doe, who was supposedly possessed by demons in 1949. The Conjuring is another great example, which tells the story of paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who helped a family that was being terrorized by spirits in their Rhode Island farmhouse. Another great example is The Strangers, which was inspired by a series of real-life home invasions that took place in the 1960s and 1970s. The film's director, Brian Bertino, was fascinated by these crimes and decided to create a movie that explored the idea of random acts of violence. Then there's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which was inspired by the true story of Ed Gein, a serial killer who wore a mask made of human skin and committed numerous gruesome murders in the 1950s. But out of all the true horror movies that I've watched, there's one that still sends chills down my spine to this day, and that's The Punisher. The Punisher is a Thai horror movie that's based on a true story about a woman named Niels Hornla, who was kidnapped and held captive by a group of men in Bangkok. The movie is a recreation of her experiences, and it's absolutely terrifying. What's so disturbing about The Punisher is that it's not just a movie, it's a recreation of real events that actually happened to someone. The film's director, Banjong Pisanthanakul, was fascinated by Niels' story and decided to bring it to life on screen. The result is a movie that's both terrifying and deeply unsettling, because it's a reminder that these types of events can happen to anyone, anywhere. Looking back at the examples we've discussed, it's clear that true horror movies have a way of getting under our skin and staying there. Whether it's The Exorcist, The Conjuring, or The Punisher, these movies tap into our deepest fears and remind us that reality can be far scarier than fiction. So what do you think? What's your favorite horror movie based on a true story? Let me know in the comments below, and if you're feeling brave, check out my next video, where I'll be exploring more spine-chilling content that's sure to send shivers down your spine.